Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Open Ultra League and we're going to take a look at a newly buffed Pokemon with Breaking Swipe Heliolisk here. You can actually use this Pokemon for the XL. I think it's like around level 47 or something you need for it. So, going to be an interesting Pokemon here today, as we're going to get completely hard-walled in the beginning here already with having two Flying-type Pokemon against my Fighting-type Pokemon in the lead. We're going to have the Buzzwole in the lead here. I wanted to try out something different compared to Toxicroak, which of course also handles kind of similar Pokemon. Both of them, Toxicroak as well as Buzzwole, going to be able to destroy both Cobalion as well as any Steel-type, as well as Virizion, which is really nice for this team. Otherwise, we're going to take, of course, a look today at the Heliolisk here, which is going to function as our closer with the move Grass Knot, which I have to say, while it's good to come and clutch here right now, I would not recommend it to you. Not as a closer. As a Say Swap, yes, if you want to use it as a Say Swap, definitely Grass Knot going to be nice for the Swampert matchup. But as a closer, I definitely missed a lot of times to have like the move Thunderbolt on this Pokemon. I had Thunderbolt on it before, but then I decided to run a different team than what I actually wanted to run, and then I decided to now just go ahead and just go for this standard moveset on PvPoke. I don't really like it too much. I wouldn't recommend it to you. I would recommend to you to go for Thunderbolt, because a lot of times we're in the matchups where you kind of want to go for Grass Knot anyway, you're going to lose anyway, so like it's going to be a little bit of a tough one. Here we're going to actually see the Ampharos in action right now. We're just going to get hit by the launch from our Buzzwole right now. We're just going to get also the shield from the opponent, and we're gonna see the opponent's Virizion swapping into our Body Slam from our Dubwole. Not ideal for us. A lot of times Dubwole got hard-walled by the backline of the opponent. I have to say, right now, Dubwole is not a good Say Swap. I would not recommend to use Dubwole as a Say Swap in the current meta. There are so many Fighting-type Pokemon lurking in the back. Most likely because most people are preparing for Steelix, of course. And also, we can take a look today if it's such a smart decision here right now to go for Electric-type Pokemon as a closer in a meta full of Steelix. So, we're going to find this one out today as well. But here we're going to now see the Ampharos going for a Thunder Punch. I thought I would be able to farm down, but this is not the case. And I'm going to actually use a shield here in order to get the launch onto the opponent's final Pokemon, which is going to be the Walrein, which we will be able to now get the shield from as well. And also, we can go to the Heliolisk. I'm fairly certain that the Grass Knot would not knock the opponent out here yet. A Thunderbolt definitely would have knocked them out. So I decided to go for a Breaking Swipe, trying to get the double debuff so we can survive the Earthquake, and this actually works out super well for me as well, as I'm now gonna go for the Grass Knot, and this Grass Knot is gonna take the knockout here, and we're gonna be able to win the second game as well. Let's take a look if this is going to continue now for the upcoming games as well. We're going to have Buzzwole against Charizard in the lead. Again, horrible lead for me. So I guess also I kind of had a difficult time just team-wise as well a lot of times here with this team, where I just got completely hard-walled. The amount of types, like Flying-type Pokemon I faced in the lead and the amount of Fighting-type Pokemon I faced in the back was significantly increased this season, I feel like, most likely because people were just preparing for the Steelix a lot, which does make a lot of sense as well. So while this team here right now would be most likely very decent compared to the last time in the meta where the Ultra League was around, right now it kind of is a little bit difficult to play. Here we're going to actually see that the opponent swaps in their Snorlax, which I find an interesting play here in general, as I can swap into my Buzzwole, which hopefully can farm them all the way down. Body Slam still going to chunk quite a bit, but they can only go to another one here right now, and I should be able to farm them all the way down as well. As the Body Slam is coming through, I will be able to go for the full farm down, and then I can go for a Superpower against the Charizard, which is already low enough that I can knock them out. I didn't want to go for the extra fast move here, by the way, and the best play would have been actually to wait one turn, go for a Superpower, and then I would have still been able to get to another Superpower afterwards. But like this, I didn't wait out my switch clock, which literally kills me the game here right now. You just saw the Swampert swapping in. But with the Pokemon in the back here, our Heliolisk, we would have been able to, I think, even maybe reach the Grass Knot in time before the opponent gets to their Earthquake, if I was able to swap out in time, which I wasn't. So this game, while I get completely walled with the lead, I definitely screwed up with, like, for myself there as well. So also the backline kind of got walled as well. So like, it was a tough matchup, definitely team-wise already, but I definitely made some mistakes which definitely allowed the opponent to even win this game. And here we're going to see the opponent swapping into their Charizard. Great catch here on the launch, but I will be able to now swap into my Heliolisk. I'm going to use a shield here right now just because Blast Burn, even though it's going to be debuffed, against Heliolisk, it's going to hurt quite a bit, and now I can get a lot of farm here, and this is just a Dragon Claw, and I know this. So, like this, I will be able to let this move go through, and we will see the final Pokemon of the opponent is going to be. You might think it's going to be a Cobalion, but no, it's going to be the Lucario, which I find quite interesting. So Lucario against us here right now. Let's see how this is going to go. We can actually go ahead and go for another Breaking Swipe against the opponent and get another attack drop against the opponent. Here, we will be able to reach another Breaking Swipe, and we're just going to spam them right now. My opponent does not even want to go for a charge move for whatever reason. Now they're just going to have a Drapion against my Buzzwole, which will be able to just go for the shield against the opponent's Aquateer, and I will have now the shield from the opponent as well as the attack drop on them. And the attack drop basically seals the deal right now. This is the scary thing about having like 2 Pokemon that can drop the opponent's attack. If they only have 1 Pokemon left, they have basically no chance to win this game anymore. And right now, we are just going to have our Buzzwole dropping the attack from the opponent the entire time, as we can swap into our Buzzwole and our Dubwole here, of course, and we can definitely knock them out with just 1 body slam as we can move on into the next game. Let's see what is going to be the next game. We already had so many flying type Pokemon in the lead, so why not have another one? We're going to have the Galarian Zapdos against us. And honestly, I was mistaken here a little bit. I'm fairly certain that like this is going to be definitely the ancient power, and I was fairly certain that they most likely boosted here off screen right now, which I couldn't see because his lunge did so less damage, but I completely forgot at this point of time that both fighting as well as flying are resisting lunge. So for me right now, I was thinking it's only single resisted. The damage output must be that they got a buff, but looking at this damage, I'm fairly certain I didn't get the buff from the ancient power. So this was my own mistake. As we're going to see a Steelix, as we're going to see a Registeel, and as we're going to see a top left from me, because I don't even want to play the battle. Even if I maybe had a small chance of still winning this game, honestly, against a Registeel plus Steelix in the back, it's just tough. We're going to see another very tough matchup right now. We're going to have a Cobalion swapping in against our Dubwole, which has nothing to do, and this is one of the main reasons why I would not recommend you to go for Dubwole anymore. I think better for this team would be Cobalion as a safe swap, for sure. Like, Cobalion would have been the better Dubwole in this point, because you're going to be just able to beat other Cobalion, you're going to be just a little bit better neutral, and you're still going to have the weakness that you kind of want to have to bait out other fighting type Pokemon. So for me, Cobalion would have been the better safe swap for this team, which I can definitely say there as well. And this is kind of the thing why I like definitely the series that I recently started, at least, where if you maybe saw the video where like Tropius was on the thumbnail, this kind of idea where I try to build a team and try to adjust while seeing some different, like some stuff that I don't really like. And maybe I'm going to bring this one back as well for the Ultra League. I want to make it maybe once a week or something for this kind of one where I try to build an insanely decent team just by starting off by a simple starting team and then see what I can improve on. I think that was a really decent video idea in general, so maybe I'm just going to continue it. And here we're going to see one of the issues where you don't really benefit from having Grass Knot here, where we're going to have the matchup against Registeel. While this was a very difficult one to, in general, have a decent position in, we still would be able to win this game here if I just had Thunderbolt. But I just don't have Thunderbolt, and like this, there is nothing I can do, as Grass Knot is not going to do enough damage. Breaking Swipe doesn't help me here anymore, because the opponent is going to knock me out no matter how low the attack from the opponent is. So for me right now, there is not a lot that I can really do here right now, as we can move on to the next game right now here as well, which is going to be very interesting. We're going to see the S-Cavalier swapping in. We have, of course, a complete Hardwall again. We're going to get Hardwall in the lead. We're going to get Hardwall as a safe swap. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Ultra League. I'm literally not the biggest fan of it. I feel like there is next to nothing that really works super well right now without having a complete hard counter matchup against each other. As we're actually going to go ahead here and try to open Pokemon Sleep at the same time, I somehow went onto the home button or something there right now, which is kind of wild. But yeah, that definitely didn't work out either. But gave the opponent a little bit of free farm, which is not ideal either. But like it's definitely game over already. We get completely hardwall the entire time, which is a little bit awkward here, as we can at least still try to come back. But it's definitely going to be a tough one here right now, as I'm going to drop the opponent's attack even further with another Breaking Swipe of Heliolisk. It's definitely a cool Pokemon. Like, I can maybe say something about Heliolisk right now, because this is not going to be the most exciting matchup. It's definitely a cool Pokemon. I really liked it. but I'm fairly certain it's not going to be good until we're going to have a special cup where you don't have Steelix all over the place, where you don't have Swampert. Here I should have went for Grassnut, which I didn't, which is a mistake as well. Most likely would have made the matchup maybe a little bit closer. Unlikely that would have changed anything, to be fair, but yeah, honestly, this game is kind of over. But yeah, Heliolisk itself, I would not recommend you to build it right now. Like, I think it is a cool Pokemon to keep in mind for the future. I think it's a fun Pokemon to use. But I would not recommend it to use for you right now, because the current meta is literally the worst possible meta that you could imagine for it. We have a ton of fighting type Pokemon to counter Steelix, and we have Steelix, which is a ground type Pokemon. And you're going to try to use an electric type Pokemon here right now. It's tough. It's just literally tough. And I think also something like an Ampharos is going to be way less viable right now with the move Trailblaze as well. Would have been a cool Pokemon. Maybe I'm still going to take a look at some electric type Pokemon right now, but it just feels like, yeah, it just feels not really right. Ampharos is a little bit better still than, for example, Magnezone, which got like buffed with a Volt Switch, but again, the meta itself, like, you have Giratina, you have fighting type Pokemon, you have Registeel, you have now the Steelix as well. Like, there is not a lot that you can really do with those electric type Pokemons in this meta. So I just wouldn't really recommend it to you. Like, I wouldn't recommend to you to build the Heliolisk. It is a fun Pokemon, it is still having some decent times here right now, but again, it is just not really the meta for it. We're going to see here right now the Giratina against us, where I can go ahead and go for a payback. I will be able to reach another payback basically immediately afterwards. It's a great matchup for us, especially as we debuffed them before already. But like this, we're going to get out of this matchup with 2 fast boost advantage, as well as still, of course, a little bit of health, being able to realign. We're going to see the, interesting enough, the Weezing in the back here. We're going to get the damage onto the opponent, which is amazing, because right now, I'm not going to go ahead and, of course, go for the grass, and I'm going to go for the Breaking Swipe, trying to debuff the opponent's attack before they can damage me, which also allows me at the same time to just most likely burn some shields from the opponent, as well as I get them very low with the Volt Switch. So, Heliolisk here right now, very cool scenario of, like, if you're not in a position where you're going to get completely hardwalled, you're going to be fine with this Pokemon. It's a fun Pokemon to use, but there's honestly, the part normal typing is a blessing, but also kind of awkward to play with, because, yeah, like, part normal going to give you just this fighting type weakness, which is really difficult to play around right now, because there's so many fighting type or like counter Pokemon in general in this current meta that it's a little bit tough to play this one. Here we're gonna now see that we can just let this Brutal Swing go through, swap out into a Boss Ball, farm them down, win the game, and move on. Next game, let's take a look at this one. We're going to have the opponent's Galvantula in the lead. Horrible for the entire team. The entire team basically loses against Galvantula. I guess it's kind of neutral for the Heliolisk, but it's not really ideal either. So we are in a kind of tough spot right now, but I can still keep basically my energy. Next time, I should have actually went for one fast move first and then swapped out, because I'm fairly certain I would have been able to. I think I would have been able to CMP-tie with the opponent then. Not sure if this would have been better though, so don't know, maybe not. We're going to see the Deoxys coming in, which is very bad for us, as we don't really have the best answers for this Pokemon on this team either. Honestly, kind of a core breaker for this team, so maybe not ideal team for Heliolisk in general, but we can still go for one lunch here. And we will see right now as well that the opponent's attack going to drop. I can use a shield against the Psycho Boost. I should be able to survive a Psycho Boost from the opponent again. I should hopefully outspeed them to the next charge move, which honestly at this point of time I actually doubt, and they actually get to another one in time, so I'm going to be forced letting this go through. And now we have 3 Pokemon left against Heliolisk, and what do we see in the back? Of course, is Steelix. So, you're going to see the pain that I had to go through trying to play in the Ultra League right now. It's literally just RPS for me, at least, with this team. Maybe there are better teams, but honestly, I just don't really see it too much. I played a different team as well already, and I'm not really having the best time either with this one, so yeah, it's a little bit tricky right now to play in the Ultra League, but I'm very happy when this league in general is going to be gone, and I just don't really like how it's like literally just fighting types and steel types around, and yeah. Skunky against us, a new Trailblaze user. That's going to be interesting. We can go ahead and go for a Body Slam, which is gonna do some decent damage, as they can even go for another one here. Do they go for the Trailblaze? Do they go for the Crunch against me? That's going to be the question, but if they have Trailblaze here right now, which they are not showing, sadly, I would be completely able to farm down the opponent basically with my Buzz Ball. Don't know why I didn't go for a charge move there. I should have definitely went for a charge move with a Body Slam first before I even went for another fast move there. But like this, I'm going to get the shield, and I'm going to get the knockout against the opponent here, which is going to be amazing, as we now see the final Pokemon. As I can try to swap out, it's going to be the A-Slash, and the A-Slash is going to go ahead and swap perfectly into the Poliwrath. Great play by them here. yeah, had the move already very earlier, but what I'm gonna do here right now is I'm just gonna go for the straight breaking swipe right now. I just actually want to get the opponent into range where I can go for a counter down, but honestly, I don't even need this. I can survive a drill run thanks to the debuff, as well as the fast move is doing 0 damage against me. So like this, I can just go for another breaking swipe, get them low, and they are going to be forced to go for another charge move here, and one more counter is all it takes to knock them out. So I don't even have to do this, because I can even go for another breaking swipe, and breaking swipe Heliolisk is gonna go to town and win this game, as you can move on to the final game of today's video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, but right now we're gonna now counter basically the opponent's Hitmon top here, which is gonna let this launch go through, gonna do some decent damage as they're gonna get the attack drop. They're gonna get the buff immediately afterwards with the triple XL. This is a very interesting matchup here, but I can still go for the superpower, forcing either the shield or the knockout against the opponent here right now, which is amazing as you're gonna get the shield advantage, which I will take, but not for too long, as I'm gonna use my own shield against the triple XL. Now it's going to be a farm down race, as I will get out of this matchup with a move stored. In comes the God of War. This is actually really tough for me, because my lead is going to lose against it, and my main damaging move on my final Pokemon is sadly part, just in general, Dragon type. So like the first move I get to is going to be Dragon type move. Here I can see that I don't get 2 body slams, which is really bad for me as well, so I'm forced to go for a payback, which they're going to, of course, smartly decide to just go ahead and shield up. So like this, I'm going to be forced to even now shield up the move against the opponent here with a triple XL. I should have I'm gonna go actually try to go for the breaking swipe, but as you're going to see, I'm going to be in a tough spot as they're going to have a Cresselia in the back again. So that's going to be it for today's video as well. There is no lot that I can do about it. Here I can go for a lunge, they can farm me down, they can go for a knockout, and yeah, like I got hardwalled most of the games. Hopefully your games went better. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about the Auto League, and that's going to be it. Thank you for watching, see you then, bye bye.